Welcome to Pillow Talk, guys. We are back. Tonight's show, we're going to talk about the Wendy Williams. Who does she love more? Fame, family, or self? So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to get that going. So we're going to start letting everybody roll up in here a little bit. And let everybody come on in. So, what the heck? Hold on. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. So we're going to go ahead and you know what? We got to make sure that it is giving everybody enough time. Because, see, sometimes these things don't just come out just right on here. They actually take a second for the notifications to go out. So I am getting ready to, let me see, make sure that everybody saw it. All right. Here we go. Okay. So if you guys haven't got to check that out, Wendy Williams show, the documentary, I have been going off a lot about Wendy Williams over the years. I have said a whole lot of stuff about Wendy Williams, and I almost feel bad. almost. And if you guys haven't seen it, Wendy Williams, she's made her life off of giving people hell, talking crazy about everybody, saying anything that she wants to say about it, and pretty much being unapologetic on who she is, right? And so I thought it's really ironic. Now she is the one that everybody is talking about. Everything that she said about a lot of people has come back on Wendy, which is, they say it's karma. I don't believe in karma, but some people say it is karma, but I don't know what it is. But I do know that Wendy Williams has a really nice career. It started off by talking about her career, some of her accomplishments, and then it just shows her right off the bat. She's sitting in a chair and they attack her health problems, and this is all approved by Wendy Williams. She has a lot of different ailments that's going on with her. Some of it is because I think is the drug. She has, they says the alcohol induced dementia. Is that's what they're saying she's having? So she's slightly losing her memory too. And she's not eating. She says she was 135 pounds, but Wendy Williams does not look 135 pounds by far. She doesn't even look 135 pounds soaking wet. But one thing I can say about Wendy Williams knows what sells, the controversy out there that sells or whatever else. So she's actually throwing herself under the bus. She's showing you her feet. You can see her feet is swollen. They're black. They're swollen up, and it's like she could hardly walk. Plus, she's drinking like constantly from morning to night. Those things. And so the question tonight is, who does she love more? Does she love her career? Does she love fame? Does she love family? Does she love herself? And that's the thing that goes on with a lot of people in different households and family and love. And so tonight we're going to talk about that on Pillow Talk, because we've all had people in our family have drug problems. A lot of us are, it's a lot of people out there that are, and I say us because as a society, we all have problems. We all have vices of some sort, no one's better than the other. And do you put your career first? Do you put your family, kids, and all first? Do you put yourself first? How do you make those adjustments in life? How do we and we're just using Wendy as the focus of this right here, because there's a lot of things that people do. They love their career a lot more than they say they love their family, but they spend so much time on their career. So is it the family that they love? Is it their career that they love? Is it selfish that they're doing that? So we see a lot of successful people out there, and we understand that to be successful, you have to give it your all. And a lot of times people get hurt in the process, So no matter what you do, if you're a basketball player, a football player, or a boxer, or whatever you are in life, if you're trying to be successful, somebody's going to get their feelings hurt, right? And to be successful, you got to go all out, and you have to be selfishly unapologetic with it, because you got a dream that you're chasing, right? I don't care if you're a doctor, you got to go to college, then you got to go to med school, you got to go do all this other stuff to become successful. So there's people that love and support you along the way, and some people feel like you don't have time for them, right? Doctors, lawyers, they all working. There's people that's working 2 jobs because of their career, or 2 jobs because it's something that they want out of life. But do you guys think that Wendy Williams is using this as a crutch because she wants to have because of her addiction, or do you think it's her husband? See, that was another thing. That's the reason why I want to talk about this too, is because they didn't touch on her husband a whole lot. Her husband divorced her, and her husband is taking spousal support out on her. So he's making a lot of money off Wendy right now. So Wendy's been paying that dude a whole lot. And same way as Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige's husband's divorced her, and he was getting money off her too, right? So Wendy Williams' husband is doing the same thing. Her ex-husband is doing the same thing. They didn't say that in here, but they did address it a little bit. They said Wendy Williams went a little further down into the dark, into a little dark space because of her divorce. Her divorce is once it became final, they said that first Wendy was going in her room. She got from work, she would go to her room, she would drink, she would vape, and she wouldn't get up to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, then head back to the studios. But her husband used to be there to help pull Wendy Williams up and get her back and forth to work, right? So he was pushing her at some point. So somehow they fell off. I'm not taking none of it off of him at all, but I am saying that it's probably, I don't know if the drug problem was there. They said Wendy was doing coke and some other stuff before her husband got together, but then it seemed like it made it worse a little bit after. Once she did that, she started doing it more. Like she wasn't showing up at work. When she showed up at work, she wasn't eating all day. And that's when you start seeing Wendy passing out. You start seeing other stuff. And then they said she started having neurological things with her stuff. So you see her eyes bulging out. You see all of that stuff too, right? So I think that the drugs and alcohol plays a big part, but I think that her husband leaving and the way her husband did her like he did, I think that sent her further on down, is that she worked so hard and she had a husband there that she loved or whatever else. And I don't know what the problems are. So I don't know. You guys might know more about the story than I do. I'm not 100% sure of everything in that story, right? But I do know that when you're going through a breakup, if you do have a drug problem, you're going to lose yourself into that vice, and I think that's what Wendy has done. She does have, I thought it was really cool that the guy that was around her, William was on her team, and he tried to make sure that no matter what he did, he wanted to make sure that she wasn't drinking. So, and I was like, man, where the hell is her family? Where's her family at? Where's her son at? Where's her sisters and brothers at? Who loves this girl? Why are they not around her? So that's another thing that we're going to get to and we're going to discuss too. And that's why I was saying about you spend so much time chasing fame and chasing this and chasing your career. Sometimes you alienate yourself from your family and friends. And then when you need them most, they're not there because they have been a part of the tone you set, right? And so, like I was saying, her husband wasn't around. So this guy stepped up. Will was her manager, and Will made sure. And I thought it was the coolest thing that they went out to eat one time, and she ordered a wine. I think it was a white wine or something like that she wanted. And her manager got up, walked away from the table, walked over to the waiter and stuff like that, and told the manager, "Hey, don't bring any alcohol over to the table. If you bring Wendy something, can you make it a virgin? Bring that to her." And what was funny about the whole thing is, I ain't gonna say it's funny, but what was crazy about it is they bought her virgin drinks and she drank them. She didn't say anything about it. She just drunk the drinks. So it's like you drink so much you can't even tell when it's even really got 100% alcohol in it, because she never said a word and said, hey, this doesn't have alcohol in it, right? But he looked out for her, and I thought that was pretty cool. But then you could see the other people that came in. She had another girl that was around her that Wendy was kind of being disrespectful to people. I know that when you do have a drug problem or something like that, sometimes you're rude, you're going through stuff. And hell, I'm rude sometimes too without even knowing. I remember one time I was actually going through a divorce, and I was going through the real estate market went down at the time. And when it went down, things was upside down. Everybody was leaving. We was going through a depression or whatever else. That's what the society was going through in 2010. Was it 2010 when the stock market and all that stuff was crashing and stuff like that? And I remember this lady at the table I went to go pick me up something to eat. And it was a lady there. She was a sweet lady. It seemed like she spoke or whatever else. And my mind was someplace else. And then, no, it actually was after that. It was actually after that, because it was around the time my mom had passed away. And so my mom died in 2014. So it was after that point. And I was at the bar, and I went in to grab me something to eat and leave. And then the lady said, excuse me, sir. She was like, I said, yes. She said, I like to say you're a very handsome man, but you are rude. I was like, huh? She was like, yeah. She said something she said, and my mind was someplace else. My mind was totally someplace else. My mom had just passed away. But I didn't go there. I don't remember what I said to her, because I just remember blanking in and blanking out a whole lot. You know, when you lose someone that's really close to you, it kind of sends you down a dark path. And that's the same thing with Wendy Williams. She lost her mom too, right? She lost her husband, she lost her mom. And I kind of relate to that because I lost my mom not too long after the real estate economy went down. The real estate went upside down. And so I had to get out of real estate because of that, because everybody was losing money. And my mom had passed away right after that, right? So I was in a very dark place. But thank goodness, thank God, I wasn't in such a situation where I had a vice, and that's what I had to lead on to as far as that, as far as drugs and that kind of stuff. But when I say all this, is that I can understand what Wendy is going through somewhat, you know what I mean? But I see that her husband had broke up with her and nobody seemed like they were there for her. Right. And then I start thinking to myself, did she push out her friends and family away? But she had a lot of vultures around trying to get money out of her. Right. And I thought that was kind of crazy too. And, you know, the family thought that as well. And then when I saw her go down and visit her son one time and she was sitting at the table, her son came up to the table and she kind of spoke to him like it was a business deal. You know what I mean? She was like, hey, she stuck her hand out. He kissed her hand, but it wasn't no, like, he said they asked the camera people asked him how long has it been since they saw each other, and they said it's been about 8 months, right? And so I didn't see him rushing over there like, hey mom, how you doing? You know what I mean? And at first I was like, man, it's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Why would he be so standoffish with his mom? You know, and his cousin was there, which was her nephew. He was there too. They was all kind of standoffish. And so it started making me think that, is her son, you know, does he have a wall up too? For that, you know what I mean? Does he have a wall up so he won't be hurt? You know what I mean? Because of that. What's going on, Miss Faith? Long time no see, young lady. Long time no see. Did you get to catch the Wendy Williams documentary? If so, give us your thoughts. But right now we're talking about that, and maybe you can shed some light too. Also, guys, you see the number is up on the screen that goes across. If anybody feels like calling in and they have something to say, feel free to do so. Miss Sharon, salute, queen, salute, Miss Faith. But what we're talking about is the Wendy Williams show and the documentary, right? And we're talking about, does she love her family, fame, or her career, or herself more? You know, and anybody can chime in with this because, you know, we've all known people that have drug problems in our family, right? And do you love yourself enough if you're the one that have the drug problem, or do you love someone enough to help them get through that dark time, right? And I was explaining that we all have been through it some shape, form, or fashion. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I have, you know, I jumped in with everybody else. I call Wendy Williams a lot, you know what I mean? Because she was going at everybody and I was convinced too. I was like, man, that's a dude. But then at the end of the day, when you see some of the old pictures of Wendy was fine, boy. Wendy was really fine. Anne Marie, salute. She said, Wendy was all about fame. She is still obviously to that fact that her career is over. Yeah. Oh, oblivious. I'm sorry. She is still oblivious to the fact that her career is over. Yes. Let me slide a little bit more. Yes, she is. I think what it is I don't think it's as much as that she doesn't really recognize it, but I think it's more of she's trying to do what she can to use that to show her worth. You know what I mean? She's trying to live off of her fame and trying to show friends and family that, hey, I'm still important. I'll have this show back, because I think now a lot of people are treating her like she does have a drug problem. You know what I mean? They're not treating her like this celebrity and looking up to her. A lot of people looking down on her. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I think it's shaking things up. And I think she's like, hey, remember me? My show is coming back. And she's treating everybody like that. But I think that deep down inside, that's something that she's dealing with. You know what I mean? Because when she was talking to her son, she was like, hey, my show should be back on real soon. Her son looked at her like, okay. She even said that to her father. Hey, you know, my show will be back on real soon in September. Her dad was like, well, okay, what? You know, because all of them were thrown off by that. You know what I mean? Because she's coming into them like, hey, I'm this celebrity. And they're like, no, you're Wendy. You know what I mean? I didn't see the documentary, but now I'm realizing it's the buzz tonight. Drug addiction in family members is rough. It is. It's really rough. And within friends too. You know what I mean? Because Wendy's friend was out there in LA, you know, and you never saw her on the documentary. And this was over a span of a year or two for a good little minute. And her friend never came out. And it's like, have Wendy alienated herself from her friends and family that much? Was it the drugs that sent her down, spiraling down? Was it the relationship going bad? You know what I mean? Because if you're going through a divorce, right? A divorce is hard anyway on anybody. because you got, especially if you got kids. If you got kids and you're going through a divorce, it's really hard because your kids are going through their emotional traumas. You're going through this. Are you doing the right thing? Should I try to make this work? Should I get out? Is it healthy for the kids? So you're battling this thing anyway. Then the kids are battling their own demons and stuff, what you guys are going through, right? Of a husband and wife that's going through a divorce. So a lot of us have been through it, and the kids go through it too. They're victims too. And she said, tell me about it. So to give you a quick, to catch up on it, Wendy, they show it off that, Wendy is having health issues, and Wendy took her wig off and showed that her hair is thinning from always wearing a wig. She's down to like 100, and she says 125, 135 pounds or something like that. She's not that even soaking wet. She's built like a little old lady, you know what I mean? And she's drinking from sun up to sundown. And she has a few people around that's trying to fight for her, but the courts has taken all of Wendy's money. You know what I mean? They locked it up because Wells Fargo saw that her and her son was spending money, or her son was, he was in charge of her stuff, right? He had, she signed everything over to him, to whereas he was in charge of everything. So he had power of attorney, basically is what it was. And the courts saw that, Wells Fargo saw that it was like $100,000 that was spent on his birthday party. And then there was like $100,000 spent on Uber Eats or something like that. So once they saw this money coming out, they thought somebody was trying to scam Wendy out of money. So they put a stop to it. They went and called the courts, and they had the courts involved. And then so now they have someone looking after Wendy. She has a guardianship like Britney Spears had, right? So someone's overseeing her money. They took her son off of being in charge because they were like, well, it was on your watch. This money got spent. And so they took her son out of it. And so Wendy went back to New York and said, when you have money, all you hear is yes. Where's all her friends? Yeah. When you have money, that's all you do is hear yes. So that's basically what it was, And then her husband had broke up with her. Her husband left. He ended up having a side chick, and the side chick had a baby. Right. So Wendy said that her ex-husband came to her. He said, I got something to tell you. She said, what? Your side chick is pregnant? He said, yes. She said, well, it's time for a divorce. So she divorced him. And he's taking money from Wendy, right? And they've said that Wendy over the years had, she got high, she snorted a little bit. Wendy even said she used to do cocaine, but her biggest thing was alcohol. They asked her about her sister and her sister's relationship. She's like, well, my sister don't want me drinking. They said, you know why? She goes, no, I don't know. And then now when you see Wendy, her eyes is bulging out. They said a little bit of that is from neurological things that's going on with her. She has some kind of other ailments, some other kind of diseases. Her feet and stuff are swollen. They're black too. And they're all swollen out. But so I say all this, was it her husband? Do we think that it's her husband kind of sent her down that road? Is it her career that she's chasing? Is it fame that she's still chasing? And maybe she was drinking to cope with fame. Fame comes with a lot of devils. You know what I mean? Fame comes with a lot. You chasing, you fighting for it. People trying to steal money for you. People trying to sue you. People not supporting you. Then when you finally get all the way up top, you get rich. Then everybody's telling you yes. Everybody's telling you the funniest thing on the planet. You're the most beautiful thing on the planet. You're the most handsome man on the planet. And, reality and things like that set in. Right. And when all that stuff sets in, who do you turn to? So what do you do at that point? Do you go after family and go be around family? Because Wendy's show has ended and she chooses to stay in New York. She doesn't go down to Miami. Right. But she did go down to Miami and Fort Lauderdale, which is kind of close together anyway. So it's all the same thing. They're like 45 minutes away. So Miami, Fort Lauderdale, she's down there with her dad's down there. Her son's down there. Her sister's down there. Her niece is actually a, she's on the news. I think she's a news reporter, news anchor. And so she was there. So she went and checked on Wendy. She broke down in tears as well too. She said, this is not my aunt. And Wendy was drinking so much that she wake up in the morning, she was throwing up, she wasn't eating, she got a bunch of cats around, she can barely walk. Like I said, her legs and stuff swell up, and Wendy's being actually rude to everybody. And that's why I was telling that story when you probably just came in the room, Faith, about when you're going through something mentally, sometimes you're rude and you don't even know about it. I was giving them the scenario when my mother passed away in 2014. It was just all of a sudden. And then I was out getting something to eat one day. And I remember this lady telling me, she said, hey, can I tell you something? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I like to say you are a very handsome guy, but you're very rude. I was like, huh? And she explained to me what I did or what I said, right? And I can't remember what it was now, but my mind was totally gone, right? So when people are going through stuff, you're not who you really are. You know what I mean? So her impression of me was that dude is a whatever reason why she said I was being rude, I don't know what it was, but I just went in to get some food, and I know my mind was thinking about that kind of stuff, right? So, and I say that about Wendy is that we see her on camera being rude to everybody, but is that really who she is? And has Wendy been rude the whole time? You know what I mean? Is this who she is, and will she get back? I know when the show ended, she had went to rehab, and her sister is trying to get guardianship of her, and the courts, they had to answer for that because the guardian that was in place was never around. They never met the guardian. And the guardian never came to New York. They never showed it. And the guy who her manager is named Will. He's a jeweler. Will is her manager. He also did he worked with her on her stuff, and he's a jeweler too. So, but he makes his own money too. And it didn't seem like he was trying to take money from Wendy, because he actually had Wendy was like $15,000-$20,000. He said, Wendy, why are you leaving this money laying around? Take it, put it up. She's like, well, because people still, and she's like, yeah, hide it, put it up, you know. Wendy seems to be rude regardless of her illness. Yes, she could be. She could be. How old is she now? So sad. She needs healing. Hope there's people who really love her around. Yeah. I hope so too. So as that, so it brings me to the question of things that we all want in life. Who do we love more? Do we put ourselves first most of the time? Do we put our family and kids first, or do we put our career? What do we need to be focused on? What is more important than everything? And and I know before you guys say it, you know, I'm sure you guys are gonna say family is important on everything. Well, family, kids grow up, kids got to live their own life, right? You can't live your life through your kids, right? You got to let your kids live their own life. And then you got to go back to living your life. It's just like when you get into a relationship, you should be still living your life too. If you're in a relationship with somebody and it's a husband and a wife, both of you guys got your separate identities. Both of you guys got y'all two different people that come together to make one, right? You guys can be a team, but if you're a lady or a guy and you're a poet or artist or a writer or a doctor or whatever else, a lawyer, you still should be chasing after who you are, right? And the person you're with, they're supposed to believe in you and help uplift you, right? So who do you put first in life? Do you put yourself? Is it self-preservation above all? Is it you got to be a little selfish for self to say that I get one time around in this life that I will do for others, but at some point I have to push myself to give myself what I want? Because what if you put all your time and stuff and effort in your kids, and your kids decided they want to do nothing, or they want to go a different route, and now you got all your time and stuff in front of your kids, and now your kids living their own life with their kids, and now guess what? You left holding the bag, you know? So what do? What's the right thoughts on that? And said, Emery said, it was just all about the fame. She has one child and the relationship seems weird. It does seem weird. I thought about that. I also thought that maybe her son is coming from a place of hurt, and he didn't just want to go out there and, you know, hey, mom, and this, and breaking down on camera and crying. Cause you know, men, you know how we are. We don't want to cry. You know what I'm saying? You definitely don't want to be crying on camera and stuff like that. And maybe he has faith that his mom will bring it back. You know what I mean? But as us, what do we do when we in those kind of similar situations? Because when you're going through a divorce, your kids get in the middle of that, you know, when we go through breakups and stuff like that, your kids in the middle of that, you know, and sometimes your kids can be standoffish, and sometimes your kids can seem like they choosing the other parent, you know, and that makes us all go to a dark place. You know what I mean? And then sometimes when we depending on our kids to be there and be around to be a part of what we're trying to build, kids is sometimes they doing their own thing. They're like, oh, the hell with them. And you left there looking stupid. So that's the question. That's what I want to ask you guys. Tell me. So the question to you guys is, when you're going through right now at this phase of your life or around, what do you push more than anything? Do you push self, love, career, or kids, family? You know, what do you push first? And if you're in a relationship, what do you push first? Do you push the whole family? Do you push you and your husband? What is it? What do you do? Because I see so many things that I look on the Wendy Williams thing is that I see a lot of things I think she should do, but we don't know how many things she got wrong. You know what I mean? We don't know how many people she fired. Like one guy came on there and said, I've been with Wendy for a long time and she's fired me twice. And he was like, why? He said, because I told her one time she wanted to order alcohol. I told her no, she don't need to drink. She fired me. So we don't know if Wendy's in this dark place because this is the thing that Wendy has set for herself. Maybe she was a butthole from the very beginning. The same way they say Steve Harvey is. Nobody likes Steve Harvey. So a whole lot of people with a lot of bad stuff to say about Steve Harvey. You know what I mean? So And a lot of people got a lot of bad stuff to say about Bill Cosby. Barb, salute, Queen. Glad you are here. She said Wendy will be another Whitney Houston. Hey, it could happen. That's what, you know what? That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. It seems like everybody's preparing for Wendy to make that exit. You know what I mean? It's like they think, what did he say? Her niece said that every day I Google my aunt's name, Wendy. And sometimes I'm just trying to see the news. I guess she's trying to see to make sure her aunt is still alive. And that's sad because she should be able to call her aunt at any time, just about. You know what I mean? Hey, aunt, how you doing? Just checking on you, letting you know I'm thinking about you and all that. But maybe she's not picking up the phone. Faith said, it's a lesson to stay humble if you are in the limelight. Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is. Definitely is. And if you, and you know, this is the thing. This is the thing with social media and being a celebrity or any of that stuff. When you're in the public light, those are two different people. You know what I mean? It's like the person who you are behind closed doors should be different than the person that the world sees. You know what I mean? It's like certain things sell. You know, Wendy Williams made millions of dollars off being straight to the point, being brutally honest, and just talking trash about people, right? But that don't mean you have to live that life behind closed doors and push everybody away, right? You know, you could still be who you are. You know, you can still be a good person behind, and you don't have to just mess over everybody. A lot of people got a lot of bad stuff to say about Steve Harvey. They got a lot of stuff to say about a few celebrities. You know what I mean? It's a lot of them out there, and they go, man, I don't like this guy. I don't like that guy. And it's, you know, and a lot of people going in on Bill Cosby because now he's at a point where he's too old. D.L. Hughley doesn't like him. He said Bill done a lot of dirty stuff and done a lot of stuff coming to the radio station that he worked at. So at some point in time, you got to pay the piper. You know what I mean? You treat people like crap, it's going to come back on you. It is definitely going to come back on you because people are going to remember that, you know? Faith said, that's tough. I feel like I'm putting myself first because I'm not good. My kids won't be good. I'm taking a degree now to make more money. My kids should see me following my dreams, and that will be an example for them to pursue dreams, even if it's tough. I like that. I like that, Faith. I like that. And that's what you should. You should do that, you know? Ann said, my kids are older now, and I love them to death, but I have to put me first at this point in life. In life, you have to always put you first. You can't do for anyone if you can't do for yourself. Hey, what they say if you're on a plane, if the plane is going down, before you put the mask on your baby, put the mask on yourself, then put the mask on your baby. Because if you pass out, the baby is done for. So you got to put your mask on first. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure you get the oxygen. So self-preservation above all. And I think at some point now, certain things you might want to put kids first, but certain things you got to put yourself first. You know, you have to. You got to love you first. You have to. And then people will respect you and people will treat you accordingly. And then, to be honest, if you put not a selfishly put yourself first, but if you put yourself first to whereas, you know, and I don't mean selfish like you only feeding yourself, you only buying clothes for yourself. That ain't what I mean. So before somebody go off on the deep end with that, we don't really mean that extreme being selfish. You know what I mean? To that point. Barb said, yes, that's why it's not good to burn bridges because you never know when you'll have to cross those bridges again. Yep. And that's the truth. But you know what's funny? I know a lot of people that burn bridges. You know what I mean? Even without an addiction or a vice. You know what I mean? Some people are just rude. But you know what's funny? And you guys will agree with me on this. Have you ever noticed people that you talk to here and there, they always call you when they need something? And you're like, how is it every time you need something, you call me, but you don't remember me on nothing else? I hear about all the other times you having fun and all the other stuff you do, but you never called in. But you always call when you need something. So they let you know you're an important person, right? So with the same thing is, even with friends, you have to be selfish sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can go look out for friends or acquaintance. Let's not say friends. We'll say people that's an acquaintance, because a friend is going to be there and call you and talk stuff to you on your high low. But the people that's an acquaintance, they'll call you sometime. You know what I mean? Even those distant relatives. She said it's okay for women. Ann said, It's okay for Wendy to put herself first, but didn't really seem like a people person. Now, Wendy didn't seem like a people person, not at all. She didn't. She seemed like more of like a dictator. You know what I mean? It's like when a lot of people have a hard time making it. Once they get there, it's like hell to pay. They want to talk crap to everybody. Yeah. Barb said exactly. You have to set boundaries. Yeah, you definitely have to set boundaries. And you have to set boundaries for yourself too. That's what a lot of people don't understand. You have to set boundaries for yourself. You got to say, look, I'm tired of being blah, 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 being used with friends and family that's always calling to borrow money, always calling to ask you something at the last minute, but they're never there when you need them, right? Or if something goes wrong, they never have your back. So you have to set boundaries right there too and say, look, I'm not doing it. I don't care how much I love my sibling, or how much I love my kids, or how much I love a parent or something like that. You got to set boundaries. You have to have healthy boundaries. And especially at our age, once your kids get grown, you have to start thinking about how you're going to spend your life and how things are going to add up for you. Because at the end of the day, nobody's coming to save you, bro. Nobody's coming to save you. You know, you can be married, but at some point, what if that person that's before you pass away? What if that person's health fails at sometimes? And then, you know what I'm saying? So you got to start figuring out what can you do to make sure you're good. Anne-Marie said they showed one childhood friend that showed who she is. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? And I said the same thing. They showed one childhood friend, and the childhood friend was never shown up there with Wendy. And when Wendy went to LA, Wendy didn't tell her I'm coming. Wendy was in LA for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? So why did her friend fly out or come see her? You know what I mean? Let's say it was a little bit longer than a drive, easy, simple daily drive. But, you know, at some point, you have to take responsibilities of who you are as a person. That if, even though you have a vice, you can still be a butthole. You know what I'm saying? You still can be dark in the heart. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you got to go out there and make millions of dollars and give everybody millions of dollars, but you can be cordial. You can be a person that's respectful to other people. You know what I mean? You don't have to go out there and talk crazy to people. Like this lady came in to do Wendy's nails, and Wendy was like, I don't want that on my nails. Take it off. And the lady was like, well, I just want one coat. I just want coat. Are you stupid? And the lady looked at Wendy, and then Wendy was like, well, she must not like me right now. And I'm like, Wendy, really? Why would you really say this to this lady? You know what I mean? She has a business, and she comes to your house to do your nails. And then Wendy first said, are you stupid? Now, listen. I'm all for helping people out. I'm all for doing business people. But that disrespect stuff got to go, bro. Soon as Wendy had said that, I'd be like, look, you don't owe me shit. I'm out of here. I would have packed up and left. And listen, Wendy would have been sitting there with a few nails painted, and that girl should have been gone. You don't let nobody disrespect you like that. You know what I mean? You don't have to go for that. That's entitlement and abusive. Screw that. Yeah, it is. It is. But you know what, though? Even people that ain't celebrities are entitled. When you talk to people, you can tell through their conversations. Sometimes they feel like they over people. You know what I mean? They do that all the time. She said, I don't care if you're the dang president, you're not talking to me that way. Nah, definitely not. You can't do it. And she was just steady disrespecting people. They're like, yeah, Wendy gets a little grumpy. You know what I mean? Now, maybe through the time, you know, maybe that it might be, maybe Will, her manager, might see that as, that's how Wendy is. We say stuff like that to each other, or we kind of treat, like me and my friends, we talk trash to each other, but we understand the respect factor. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's between them, that's a play thing between her and her manager, her and close people. But the nail tech, somebody like that came out to your house, I know they ain't that close. That nail tech looked at her like, and the way she looked at her like, girl, you looking at these, and she looked at the cameras like she wanted to like, you know what I mean, go off on Wendy. And Wendy saw that look on her face, and Wendy was like, well, I know she don't like me no more, or something like that. Wendy shut that up real quick, because that look was like, Wendy, I'm going to take you down through her, right here in your house. I don't care if you're 100 pounds. You know what I mean? You be 100 pounds soaking and wet, but you about to get it. I'm going to introduce you to these hands. Yeah. She is too old for that, to act like that, sick or not. Yeah, she really is. Wendy really is. Yeah. Said maybe some of her behavior is what pushed her husband away. Could have been. Yep. That could be it. And but you know what? In the beginning, I don't know. Maybe he was just there for the money. You know what I'm saying? Because they were dating. I mean, I guess they had split up, because he had been going out with this girl and was seen out in public. So Wendy already knew he was seeing the girl, right? So she knew he was seeing the girl. So I don't know if he was out in public or not with the girl before they even got it. You know what I mean? If that was like Wendy knew about it, if it was like, if they were like separated, still together but separated, it could have been that, not to condone what he did. Yeah, I don't condone what he did either. I don't know the whole story, but they didn't. But that's one thing they didn't touch on a whole lot. I wonder why. Wendy talked about everything else, but she really didn't. She talked about that just a little bit. She's like, well, the divorce was here. I told him it's over. So I don't know if that was something else, if that was something big or not on that. I'd like to know more of that. But like I said, she in a rehab. Maybe we'll hear the full story when she come out on the other side. Hopefully she comes out on the other side better than when she went in. Because I know when they first started filming, she had went away for like 3 months to like a little wellness center for like 3 months. But when she came back, it was like she might have gained like 5 pounds or something. You know what I mean? You really couldn't tell. And then, and she was always in like booty shorts or something like that with like a skeleton in shorts or something. You know what I mean? Like a stick figure. You know what I'm saying? I ain't cracking jokes on her, but Wendy looked bad. If you haven't seen that yet and you see her in those shorts and stuff and you see her feet and she's always short, she's doing that on her own. Like she kept pulling her feet up to the camera and she was like, yeah, I want to do a new show and I want to show my feet and I want to show my hair and I want to sell my clothes and say, well, you want it, you got to pay for it. It's like, Wendy, slow down. So I mean, I want them clothes, bro. You know what I mean? Don't know, but I don't know. But I think at some point, Wendy has got to be selfish as far as putting her health first and her family. And what I mean by that is she's got a son. Wendy's mom just died and Wendy's taking it hard, but it's like you're taking it hard that your mom dies, but you're not going to take it hard. You don't think your son is going to take it hard if you die? Anne-Marie says she knows what sells and she will do anything. I agree with that. Because that's all she talked about was the show. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think with her putting her foot out there and stuff like that, she's trying to show people, hey, I'm not perfect. She's addressing the situation. She talked, you know what I mean? This whole show, man, it changed my whole opinion on that. Cause like I said, I used to give Wendy Williams hell. You know what I mean? I'd be like Wendy Williams, but now, I mean, you see, she's human. I think she just has a bad attitude. And even through all of this, she's not humble. You know what I mean? Talking about somebody going out without a fight. Wendy's going out with a fight. You know what I mean? She is steady rude. She's steady talking crazy to people. And it's like, Wendy, you ain't in a position where you're going to be that. You know what I mean? But like I said, once again, guys, the phone line going across the screen. Phone lines are open. If you got something you want to say is too much to type, situation or what you think she should do. If you saw it, if you didn't see it, feel free to call in and you can still remain anonymous on here. You can definitely do that. Her son looks like he was waiting on that money. He showed no emotion, especially it being your mother. Yeah. Yeah. His mom. Yeah. But you know what? Some kids don't when they're going through it. Mom has a habit and they've been crying and breaking down and going through stuff. And after in public, he's just like cameras are on and he's just standoffish. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that's what it is. You know what I mean? Because they said he spent a lot of time with his mom and they loved each other and all of that, But she came in, she's like, I got you a shirt. And he's like, okay. So she bought him a shirt. I don't know if you guys saw that. She bought him a shirt and I forget what the shirt was, but she was like, it's expensive. And he was like, oh, okay, thank you. But it's like, you trying to buy people. You know what I mean? Wes makes pancakes. Salute. Kevin Jr. spent $100,000 on Uber Eats. That's the same thing we said. How do you listen? And you know what, Wes? The thing I want to know is he was a vegan. How can you be a vegan and spend $100,000? You know what I mean? It was a Dior shirt. Yeah. So yeah, Kevin. Kevin. Yeah, Wes. Kevin spent $100,000 on Uber Eats. He spent $100,000. Well, she spent it on his birthday. Man, what? That's crazy. How does a vegan spend that kind of money? You know what I mean? But that's when the court stepped in. I mean, that's when Wells Fargo was like, look, there's some crazy spending habits on here. You guys done spent $200,000 in a short period of time, and they notified the courts, right? And the court stepped in on it, right? The thing about it is, if you spending, I looked up Wendy Williams' net worth. Wendy Williams' net worth, they said, is like $20 million. I know sometimes celebrities most of the time are worth way more than what they put out there. But let's just say hypothetically, Wendy Williams is worth $30 million. She's got $10 million more, right? Man, spending $200,000 in less than in a couple of months. Dude, that's crazy. You know what I mean? That's you're gonna be spending $1 million, $2 million a year like that. And that was just what she spent down on him. She still had her apartment up there in New York, so she's spending money on that, right? I know she owns it, but is she paying a mortgage on it? You know what I'm saying? And her son was living in a $2 million apartment down there. I think they call them apartments. I think they're really condos, or maybe it's just how their term for that in those other cities. But so apartment, you know what I mean? So, maybe that's it. But he lost it. So it was $2 million down the drain. So let's say it cost $2 million. She put $200,000 or $300,000 on it, and then they was making payments in the courts, and Wells Fargo froze her money. Now she can't spend it like that, right? Yep. Yes. She said, that's why I said he's waiting on that. Wes said, she's rich, but still needs to be careful. Yeah, listen. I don't care who you are. There's a lot of rich people that went broke. You know what I mean? And in her health crisis right now, Wendy won't be able to climb back to the top if she goes broke. You know what I mean? Because then at that point, you don't have money. And then people going to really show you what they think about you. You know what I mean? You ain't going to have what? I don't know. What is she going to do at that point? You know what I'm saying? Well, listen, I'm not wishing nothing bad on Wendy, but if Wendy was broke, she'd have to go get a job to survive, right? I would think. So she would have to go get up in the morning and go to work. So would that help her stay sober? You know what I mean? I hope she don't go down that. I hope she don't go down that road. You know what I mean? What do you think about that, Wes? You think that Wendy should if it'd be better if she was broke? Just hypothetically talking. She's actually spent $100K on his birthday, different from the $100K he spent on Uber Eats. Yeah, right. Well, that's $200,000. You know what I mean? And they said one of them was 100. I think it was the Uber Eats was 125,000. I think that's what the Uber Eats was. It was like 125,000. So that's a lot. And then Wells Fargo, one thing about it is I would be hot. You don't freeze my money. But in that situation, I'm glad that they froze her money. I am, because she was gonna run through that money, bro. That was gone. Miss Nettie Brown, salute, Queen, salute. She said for Wells Fargo to flag her account, because usually credit card companies don't care. So as long as the bills is paid. Yeah, you're right. They really don't care. Yeah. So I'm happy about that. I'm glad they did, because that saved her some money. You know what I'm saying? That saved her a lot. Because if that's the case, man, she would have blew through all of that. You know what I mean? She would have blew through all of that. But the other thing I don't understand about Wendy is, you live in New York, right? You have money, you're rich. She was selling her apartment. You don't have a show right now. So why not go down to Miami for a little while, for like a year? Take a year off. Go get healthy, stay around your family, let them help nurse you back to health, right? And guess what? They're gonna gladly give you your show back, because they're gonna want to see her art go down. She hit bottom and she went all the way back to the top. That's perfect for TV. That's perfect for ratings. You know what I'm saying? But they're not gonna fool with Wendy right now while she's having those issues. You know what I'm saying? Her being rude, can't show up to work. Her attention span ain't too long, because they say she has alcohol-induced dementia. So her mind is slipping. So when you're talking to her, she's zoning out. But we don't want nobody to talk to her. Like, listen. Wendy was on the bed down in Miami. I guess, I don't know if she was at a hotel or whatever. She was on the bed, and her niece was talking to her. Her niece was like, yeah, you got to get it back on track. Wendy was like, okay, all right. Can I watch TV now? Can everybody leave? Because I want to watch TV. Wendy was being rude to her niece. You know what I mean? She's been rude to everybody. Her niece got up and I guess stand in front of TV. She's like, could you move so I can watch TV? I'm like, man, at some point, you got to have something in you that you treat somebody right. Wendy ain't treating nobody right. You know what I mean? Hell, I don't even know if she's treating her cats right. You know what I'm saying? The cats was just ripping and running through the house. So I don't know about Wendy, man. I just don't know. Hopefully Wendy will get it together. I hope so, because I don't want to see anybody in there. And I hate it for her kids. You know what I mean? I hate it for her son. Hate it for her family, her dad. Think about it. He lost his wife, his daughter down there tripping out, bug-eyed out. You know what I mean? That's bad, man. That's bad. That's real bad. It's a bad situation. Real bad. But like I said, hopefully she get it together. I would hope so. But we never know. But do y'all think Wendy will get her show back? Do y'all think Wendy got what it takes to pull it back together and go get her show back? Or do y'all think Wendy's just going to have to retire from here? Emery said, she'll never come back. Even if she stops the drinking, she has neurological problems, which is affecting her memory. Well, yeah, but you know what though? I think that this is what I think. I think when you starve yourself and you're not eating, she said no, her memory is gone. But this is what I think. I think the human body can do amazing things. But if you keep alcohol in it and you're not feeding it right and you're not taking the right foods, anybody's body, you're gonna have those effects. Your body's gonna do something crazy. You know what I mean? Your body's you're gonna start having, because you're dehydrated all the time. You're not eating the proper foods. You're not putting nutrients in your body. Your body can't get nutrients out of alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Your body can't get nutrients off of Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? So there's a whole lot of stuff that's got to go in there that you got to get. And if you eating one time a day, it's not going to help. Wendy Williams has literally almost starved herself to death. So the memory loss, the hair falling out, all that other stuff is going to happen with anybody. If right now you stop eating and you over a period of time, you only eat one time a day, after about 4 or 5 months, you're going to start having dementia problems. You'll start having all them problems. You will. She has early dementia. She can't help it. Yeah, but I have to beg to differ on that one. I think that her memory might not come all the way back, but I think that you give her the right food, rest and sleep and food and all that. I think that at some point, Wendy could kind of come back. You know what I mean? I think she could. I think she could. But I think that the only way she could is that she definitely has to get off of alcohol. She has to be all the way off of alcohol. All the way off. Yeah. You said she has to sometimes you see sometimes she has to stop and think what she's talking about. Yeah, I think so too. But I think a lot of that is because she's dehydrated, no nutrients. I think all that stuff. I think all that stuff is a factor. I think that if you get her back healthy, where she's eating right and all that stuff, I think that you'll see a major turnaround. Because you remember, if you saw at the end of the show, it'll say something like, I think her sister and Will, her manager said that they talked to Wendy and she sounded like the old Wendy. They all said that, you know what I mean? So I think that she's on the right track, but I think that if Wendy gets out in like a month or 2 or 3 months and then goes right back to New York, she's going to fall off worse than what she came in. You know what I mean? Because once you give that stuff a break, that's normally when it really goes downhill. Because once your body starts getting out of the system, then you go back and you drinking like you did. I think that your body can't handle it. That's why a lot of people that do drugs and stuff, they go get away off drugs for a while, whether it's prison or rehab, stay off of it a long time. But then once they go back to it, it normally ends worse than it ended the first time. You know what I mean? Like they overdose or they drink themselves to death because your body's not used to it at that point. And they go back drinking as much as she did. Because I know her manager said that she had a great big old bottle in her bed. It's like a big old bottle in her bed. So she's drinking a whole lot, excessively. You know what I mean? And if you can drink a whole bottle of liquor in a night or so, and I'm talking, this was like a big, tall bottle of liquor. You know what I mean? If you drink that and you're not eating anything, yeah, it's going to cause a lot of physical and mental problems. It is. It's going to have a lot of it on there. But anyway, guys, y'all let me know. If y'all haven't seen it, please go take a look at it. But anyway, I just want to get on tonight. I want to talk about that because, we always talk on Pill Talk. We talk about all the other stuff, but what about this kind of stuff? You know what I mean? So anyway, guys, that's going to be all for me tonight. I appreciate everybody that came in. That was a part of Pill Talk tonight. So we're going to be on next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're on different platforms. If you're on a different platform, please look down in the description of the video and it'll show my link tree and it shows you all my social media. So most of the people are over on Facebook because that's where Pillow Talk originated, was on Facebook. So, but we are definitely on YouTube and Twitter. So if you're on one of those sites, feel free to come join, click the link tree, go to my YouTube and go to my Facebook or whatever and add me on all social medias. So anyway, guys, thank you. Tease you till we please you. So until next time, guys, I'm out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.